Contact us to avail the combo offer of General Studies and Public Administration optional with 20% discount.
Hello everyone, welcome to Lukmaan IAS. Today we are going to have the Hindu analysis of 12th September 2021. Let us see which are the important articles from today's The Hindu newspaper. Yes, these are the important developments. First of all, we will take overview of all these articles, then we will discuss them one by one in detail. As we know that it is Sunday's newspaper, two important pages relevant to our examination, science and technology page and FAQ page, page number 11 and 12 respectively. Okay, so let us take overview. First of all, mains related developments. What is the new framework to share financial data? Recently, RBI released the new framework regarding account aggregators. Okay, it is called as account aggregators framework. So, what is this particular framework, what are the benefits of it, and at the same time we have to understand the challenges in its implementation. This is important from GS3 paper economy part, right. Then, why is Nipah's return in Kerala a cause for concern? Now again, some basics about Nipah virus, its origin, symptoms about it, what is the treatment at present for this Nipah virus, whether the outbreaks have been continuous or sporadic in nature, and the way forward or in future how we are trying to deal with this. So this is important from GS2 paper health governance aspect as well as GS3 paper science and technology. Also it is important or relevant to prelims examination. Then 2+2 ministerial level meeting between India and Australia recently, let's say, held, and the outcome of this is highlighted in this particular article. So we have to have follow up on international relations GS2 paper, so that is relevant here. Now US climate envoy John Kerry to visit India next week for talks. So this is important for GS2 paper IR section. So whatever the climate related or the bilateral relation between US and India in the climate change action plan or that area, that is important area for the bilateral relations, right. So we will have follow up here, what will be the areas where the bilateral visit is going to focus on, right. Then specifically prelims related developments, sheltered vultures now at home with nature. So there is one vulture conservation center in Haryana which has recently released some of the ex situ conserved species of vulture which were threatened, now are released into the nearby environment and now they are coping up with their natural habitat. So this is good development. Article also mentions about what are the threats to the vultures and how vultures are important for any ecosystem in which we are living here. Fine. So this is important from environment section. Then there is one small article on science and tech page. On the left side, some important science related developments are mentioned. So Orca, the largest direct air carbon capture facility, started operations in Iceland. This is important for prelims examination environment section because carbon capture technology is going to be the next future regarding dealing with, we can say, climate change and global warming, right. Next is Delhi's wettest September in 77 years. So in recent days, Delhi has received more than average, we can say that the amount of rainfall, and it is concentrated much in this month, and still we can expect more rainfall in the coming week. Basically this is how the impact of climate change is happening. The variability of rainfall in different parts of India is further going to increase. You can mention this example in your mains examination. You can remember this data for prelims examinations. Finally, practice prelims MCQs on today's current affairs. So first article, what is the new framework to share financial data? Now this particular framework called as account aggregators framework. Account aggregators framework, it was released on 2nd September by RBI. So let us understand first what is this account, who is account aggregator and how does it work. Okay, so Yes, let me give you some example. Let us suppose this is Mr. A, and Mr. A is having accounts in different banks, suppose 2 banks. Okay, and there is one entity, financial entity, will be called as account aggregators, which will receive license from RBI to be called as account aggregator. It can be any bank, NBFC, or even private company. For example, like virtual payment, we can say company like PhonePe is there, Paytm is there, Google Pay is there, right? So they will be acting as account aggregators. Now account aggregators will have the data of Mr. A, financial data. Okay, so what will happen when Mr. A will seek, suppose, loan, will seek loan from bank 1, suppose this is SBI, suppose this is Punjab National Bank. Okay, but SBI, while deciding on this loan, does not know complete financial information about A and his credit worthiness, because only this bank account related data is having, this SBI is having that data only, but not the data regarding the finances with PNB. Okay, so for improving the data or awareness, or taking the aware decision by this bank while giving the loan to Mr. A, the data from all banks and all financial information of Mr. A is required. For that purpose, what this bank will do is, it will contact account aggregator. It will contact account aggregator and ask all the financial information of Mr. A. It will ask all the financial information of Mr. A, and this information will be given by account aggregator to bank as a service provider. But that account data or financial data of Mr. A, how this account aggregator is going to receive? With the permission of Mr. A. When Mr. A is giving permission to collect all data related to financial data of Mr. A, all related to all transactions, the earlier loans and their repayments, EMI transactions and their compliance, right? So this Mr. A will provide permission, then account aggregator will store that data, and whenever required it will provide these services to different banks, right? So this is how it is going to work here. This is not only related to financial data, but yes, there can be insurance entity also, like provident fund. So provident fund related data is there, or different kind of, let's say, entities where financial transactions are done by Mr. A. So that data will be stored by the account aggregator and will be provided as one point source to different financial institutions whenever they are required, right? So in this manner this is going to work here. What is account aggregator? Just now we have understood. It can be any financial entity or any company also, any bank also, which will receive some license under this framework from the RBI, right? So, and how it will work, just now we have understood. Now what are the benefits? What are the benefits? First thing is that to get the creditworthiness of individuals seeking loans, credit from the banks or financial institutions. So up till now what used to happen is the credit worthiness was decided from the PAN accounts, or we can say that even there were many credit score rating agencies are there who are, let's say, coming at a credit score of an individual, but that was on the basis of limited information. And because of that the credit worthiness, the actual picture of the credit worthiness of that individual was not known here. So this will improve that aspect. Second aspect we should understand in terms of benefits is that the tailor-made products in terms of credit or loan or insurance will be provided, given to individuals on the basis of past financial history of the individual. Suppose the individual is working, or let's say in the past has worked out in a certain particular sector, investment in certain particular sector, let's say for housing sector, or suppose for buying new car, right? So a tailor-made product will be given to that individual on the basis of information that bank is receiving, right? The third important aspect is that we can say that feasibility of having digital data at one point source. That means even individual can have or access to their own digital data at one point source itself. So it is a good thing for the individuals also, right? So it is win-win situation for all of these different stakeholders involved here. Now, what are the challenges involved in implementation here? The first and foremost challenge is regarding the right to privacy, and we can say that data protection, because there is always concern regarding data theft or the third party, let's say, taking that data away from the storage illegally, right? So for that purpose, the right to privacy of the individuals is affected. Under this particular framework, there are two aspects or safety measures. One is that all the data transfer will be in encrypted form. This will be in encrypted form, and this is good thing to ensure the data privacy. Second is that the data rights belong to individual. So individual can at any time ask the account aggregator to delete their own data. This is also good thing, right to be forgotten. It is important aspect of data protection and right to privacy. The second aspect is that the willingness of individuals to provide data. This is also aspect, and at the same time whether the banks will feel hesitant to share the data with the account aggregators, that we have to see in near future. But we can understand that in future all the banks will come on board in this particular framework and participate. So participation by the banks as well as willingness of individuals to provide data, that remains to be a challenge. How it is going to unfold in future, we will see into it. Okay, so in this manner we should understand this aspect. What is account aggregator, what is the framework, what are the measures especially related to the challenges related to data protection and right to privacy, how it is going to benefit different stakeholders. So straightforward question, what do you understand by account aggregator? With reference to account aggregator framework announced by RBI, discuss the benefits of account aggregators and challenges involved in its implementation. Right? Yes. Next, why is Nipah's return in Kerala a cause for concern? This is important from health governance aspect and then science also. Yes, earlier we had discussed about Nipah when there was one particular case found in Kerala in last week. Again, the article is, we can say that, comprehensively dealing with this particular issue here. Nipah virus is basically, we can say that, highly pathogenic virus or highly contagious, we can say that pathogenic virus. At the same time, we have to also understand that the origin during 1990s and 1998 and 1990s in Malaysia and some of the, we can say that, Southeast Asian countries, the outbreak happened there. So we can understand that the fruit eating bats are natural reservoirs of this virus. So there are chances of, let's say, transmission of this virus from fruit eating bats to the pigs or directly from fruit eating bats to human. Okay, so transmission from animal to human, and even there are chances of human to animal transmission of this virus. Okay, now after understanding this origin, we have to understand the symptoms and how it is diagnosed. Symptoms like common fever, we can say that if flu symptoms are there, but severe symptoms like fever is there or cough is there, then diarrhea is there, or muscle pain, nausea is there. However, these are the common symptoms, but the severe symptom is encephalitis. That is inflammation of brain and respiratory diseases caused by respiratory diseases. And because of that, there is mortality rate of 40% to 70% among the infections. Mortality rate is 40% to 70%. This is why it is cause of cancer. That's why the stringent screening is being done in the Kozhikode district, in the nearby area of that one particular child who succumbed to the particular this Nipah infection in last week. Okay, so in this manner we should understand the severity. Now how it is diagnosed? So there is no specific diagnosis, but we can understand very few labs in India, like National Institute of Virology, Pune. This is equipped with separating this virus with the help of tissue culture. At the same time, the commercial test like RT-PCR test, which is used for diagnosis of other diseases, viruses like COVID-19 also. So it can be also used, but you should understand it is highly pathogenic virus, and that's why a very severe level of care is required. High level of care is required here. Now, have the outbreaks in India have been frequent? So the outbreaks in India is not frequent, rather there are isolated outbreaks. You should remember 2001, 2007 or 8, West Bengal. The spillover effect from Bangladesh outbreaks at that time, and 2018 Kerala outbreak. These are two important and recent instances of 2021. So the sporadic events happen. We should also understand that why it has not transmitted to the larger distances. It is not like COVID-19 which spreads through air. Rather, it spreads through, we can say that, human to human contact or the fluid contact, we can say that. At the same time, we should understand it transmits through the saliva of the infected person. So that's why it is not being transmitted directly through the dry air. Okay, so it is not transmitted at the larger scale, at the larger distances, but the mortality rate is more, and that's why it is cause of concern. Right? Now, what is the treatment protocol? Treatment protocol is there is no fixed treatment is available, or we can say even no vaccine at present available for its treatment. So yes, various antiviral drugs are used, like remdesivir is also there, which is used to treat the HIV infections, right? At the same time, there are some vaccine candidates at present in early human trial stage. This is good sign, and these trials on the animals and early human trials, the data shows some promising results regarding the development of vaccine on the Nipah virus, right? So presently the focus is on dealing with the symptoms, managing the symptoms of this virus, and accordingly reduce the mortality here. Fine. So this can be asked in prelims examination also, even in mains examination also, right? Yes. Now moving on. Yes, Afghan soil must not be used for terror. 2+2 ministerial level meeting between India and Australia. The outcome of this summit, the joint statement, press release after this ministerial level. So what Foreign Minister of Australia is saying, international community wants to ensure that Afghanistan can never again become the safe haven for terrorism. Yes, both countries share very strong interest in ensuring that Afghanistan never again becomes safe haven for breeding or training of terrorists. That is abiding concern of international community. Now, when we talk about 2+2, foreign minister and defense minister simultaneously they are meeting on with their counterparts. So Rajnath Singh, our defense minister, and Mr. Dutton, Australian defense minister, highlighted maritime domain and urged for open and inclusive Indo-Pacific region. Right. So whenever we talk about India, Australia, India, Japan, India, US, they generally always say that open and free Indo-Pacific, right? So shared vision on Indo-Pacific region as free, open, inclusive, prosperous domain. Use these words directly in your answer. Then Mr. Dutton formally announced that Australia will invite India to exercise Talisman Sabri, right? 2023, and Australia would increase its defense diplomatic representation in New Delhi. This is also good thing. Our external affairs minister highlighted difficulties faced by Indian students who secured admission in Australian universities, but they are unable to attend on-campus lectures because of COVID-19 related restrictions. And the counterpart has assured that the restrictions will be lifted in a phase-wise manner and they will have access to the classroom. Okay, so this is outcome of 2+2 ministerial level meeting. Whenever such ministerial level meeting happens, in addition to these articles in newspaper, I want you to visit Ministry of External's website. Okay, there the actual statement, joint statement or press release after such bilateral or multilateral meetings that happen. So refer to that document. Try to find out the exact statement what the ministers has said about a certain issue. Okay, so that can be additional value addition to your source material for IR section. Now next is US climate envoy Kerry to visit India next week for talks. Okay, so yes, as a prelude to 26th COP meeting on climate change in Glasgow in November, US Special President Envoy John Kerry will visit India next week. Okay, so yes, in this visit he will launch Climate Action and Finance Mobilization Dialogue. Remember this for prelims examination. Climate Action and Finance Mobilization Dialogue. Now this dialogue is being established under the partnership, US India Agenda 2030 partnership. Now this was announced when our Prime Minister and the US President met in April 2021 on the sidelines of Mr. Biden's Leaders Summit on Climate that happened. So this Leaders Summit and this partnership we covered in the Hindu analysis in April when this happened. Okay, when this meeting happened. So as a part of this partnership, this climate action and finance mobilization dialogue is being instituted. Right? Some data regarding emissions. India is the third largest emitter of greenhouse gas. Actually, it is fourth largest when we considered EU as a one particular region, which is third largest, and India is fourth largest, but as a country it is third largest. Aggregate emissions, we can say that, or cumulative emissions, following China and US. China is largest than US in absolute terms, but not a major emitter in per capita terms relative to China and US. So you should remember that India is third largest emitter and contributes around 5% of total carbon emissions or greenhouse gas emissions. Okay, and per capita it is even less than world's average, one third of the world average per capita emit. Fine. Now, sheltered vultures now at home with nature. This is important for prelims examination. Most of the vultures in India are threatened species, and 3 of such vulture species are critically endangered in India. So that can be asked in prelims examination. One of them is critically endangered oriental white-backed vultures. Now 8 of such vultures which were bred in this Jatayu Conservation and Breeding Center situated in Bir Shikargarh Wildlife Sanctuary in Shivalik ranges of Himalayan foothills in Haryana's Pinjore district. Okay, so they were released last year in its natural habitat nearby this, let's say, breeding center, and now they are actually, what we can say, that intermingling with the nature, their natural habitat. This is good thing, and further it will boost the conservation measures, ex-situ conservation measures regarding these vultures. Now what are the threats to vultures? Uncontrolled veterinary usage of non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs including aceclofenac, ketoprofen and nimesulide, and the illegal use of drug diclofenac in India. Diclofenac is banned drug for administration to the cattle in India. Okay, so this diclofenac is actually the painkiller. It is used in the painkillers. It is administered to cattle, and when these cattle die and vultures were feeding on these cattle, what used to happen is, because of, we can say that, biomagnification process, where the concentration of this diclofenac used to increase in the upper tropic levels in the food chain, and this diclofenac was not harmful to the cattle, but it was harmful to the vultures who were scavenging on these died cattle or dead cattle. Right. So what used to happen is the kidney of these vultures used to fail because of this diclofenac, and they used to die. This is how around 90 to 95% population of vultures decline in last 2 decades because of these drugs. Right. So key reason behind the use of diclofenac is that it's very low cost drug. The government needs to subsidize alternative drugs so as to increase their use and reduce the use of diclofenac. In this manner we should understand. Remember this for prelims examination: Jatayu Conservation Breeding Center in Haryana's Pinjore district. Now Orca. On science and technology page, many times we tend to miss small development mentioned on the upper, we can say, left hand part of this page. World's largest plant designed to suck carbon dioxide directly out of air and turn it into rock has started running. What is this project name? Orca. Why the name is given? After Icelandic word Orca meaning energy. Okay, so it has started in the Iceland. It is constructed by Switzerland's company Climework and Iceland company Carbfix. Operating capacity of the plant will be drawing 4,000 tons of carbon dioxide out of air every year. 4,000 tons of carbon dioxide. This is good thing. How does it work? To collect the carbon dioxide, the plant uses fans to draw the air into the collector, which has filter material inside. Once the filter material is filled with CO2, the collector is closed and the temperature is raised to release the CO2 from the material, after which highly concentrated gas can be collected. Now, the CO2 is then mixed with the water before being injected at the depth of 1000 meters into nearby basalt rock where it is mineralized. Okay, so basically capturing this CO2 from the atmosphere and then injecting into the rocks. This is, we can say, geotechnology, wherein the carbon is captured directly from the air and is allowed to go inside the earth or into the rocks, right? So this is going to be the future technology. Further, such kind of plants will be established. We can expect that when this plant is efficiently or effectively working for some time period. Fine. Now, Delhi's wettest September in 77 years. Record breaking rain happened in the September month in Delhi. You should be aware such kind of instances are happening. Variability of the rainfall. Basically, the average rainfall that Delhi should receive yearly, we can say that is normally Delhi records 653.6 mm, that is around 650 mm or 65 centimeter rainfall. But already this year Delhi has recorded more than 1000 mm rainfall. Okay, so city has gauged 1136 mm rainfall from onset of monsoon up till now. This is like a doubling of rainfall than the average. This, we can say that, leading to flood like situation in Delhi now, Delhi and surrounding region, right? So you can mention this example. You can see the picture wherein the water logging in Delhi airport happened. So this must have been happened for the first time. Delhi airport is looking like a complete waterlogged situation, right? Yes. Now practice prelims MCQs. What could be the answer to this question? One-liner questions are there, so we can solve it quickly. Okay, so recently world's largest direct air carbon capture plant, Orca, was started in which of the following country? Okay, so yes, Greenland, Norway, Sweden, Iceland. If you are not having the exact information, you may get this wrong, because all of them are, we can say, Scandinavian countries or West European countries, which are more focused on the climate change mitigation and adaptation plans. So Iceland is the correct answer, right? There can be other way around question, like they can say that one such plant is established in Iceland and which of the following is the name of the plant. So remember the name Orca means energy. Yes, what could be answer to this question? Okay, so Jatayu Conservation and Breeding Center involved in ex situ conservation of vultures in India is located in which of the following state? Okay, such location based question we are expecting related in the environment. They have already asked the wildlife sanctuaries, or we can say that the national parks for particular species conservation. So such kind of ex situ conservation may, so they can be also asked, right? So this is Jatayu Conservation Breeding Center located in Haryana, Pinjore, Haryana, right? Yes. So these were important articles from today's The Hindu newspaper. Thank you.